I'm here with Christie Ward and we will talk about the challenges and the solutions to implement a learning culture. I'm Wagner Casimiro and this is the Espresso Tree. Why is it so difficult to implement a learning culture?
There's a lot of things that get in the way. First of all, leaders many times don't see the value because learning is a cost center to the organization. It's not a profit center. So it doesn't make money for the organization, just like HR. So they look at that as kind of a necessary evil, if you will, and something that people maybe go to take a virtual class or do something like that and then check what we call check the box. But they didn't learn anything, nothing changed. The other piece is silos in organizations. You know, organizations are so, this department does it this way, this department does it that way, and they don't always talk to each other. And a learning culture is kind of an overall, yeah, it's a big concept. It's a big picture concept. And so a lot of organizations don't see the need because they don't see the profit in it. And they not realize that their people are their competitive advantage. And unless we train people, particularly with some of these soft skills, like communication and conflict resolution and empathy and good listening skills, if we don't train both the managers as well as the workers in these things, we won't have a company in another 5 years. So I think it's really important to create a learning culture where it's encouraged, where there's a growth mindset instead of that restrictive, closed mindset that we can't change and I need to go to this class, but it's not going to make a difference to me. We need to train managers how to incorporate learning, how to have conversations with their employees, which would sound like this. You know, I'm so glad you're going to this training tomorrow. I can't wait to hear what you learn, and I want you to come back and tell me what you learned. See, now that's a conversation. I can teach a manager how to do that, but they don't do that right now.
So, Christie, what are your contributions and suggestions to build and develop a learning culture?
I think the learning professionals inside the organization need to lead the charge, but I think they need to start with leadership. I think leadership needs to understand this and embrace it. It needs to be important to them. And we need to win them over. We need to be business partners with the C-level people in the organization. We don't need to be just part of HR. We need to be there when the business strategy is created to show them how we can help the employees to become more proficient and that we do play a role in the success of the company. We are not a profit center, however, we play a role. And so I think that needs to be, but it needs to come from the top down. I need to explain, the leader needs to be behind it. I need to teach the managers. I need to have special classes for the managers. Here's what you say to your employee before they go to class. Here's how you talk to them after they go to class. You don't reprimand them for not being at work and having to do twice as much work because they were in class. Learning needs to become a part of the organization, and we need to motivate managers first to help people. I think people naturally want to learn. I think everybody wants to feel smart. They want to learn new tools. People come to work wanting to do a good job, but we don't always let them because we don't always have a learning organization to support us to do that. It has to start at the top. But I think as learning professionals, we may need to ask some difficult questions and see if we can't get a seat at the table to be part of the strategic plan. So I think that's where it needs to start.
Okay, and you have a 5C model to contribute to this construction. Could you explore more each one?
Well, I can share a little bit of that with you. Yeah, absolutely. I need to help people contribute. I need to make them feel like they have a significant part to play in the organization. I need to help people to have what I call healthy conflict, challenge the status quo, ask the questions they need to, ask for feedback, some of those kinds of things. I think that we need to co-create with our employees. We need to not just be curators of content, but we need to, as trainers, set the context for the learning and let the learners learn the content. I think we need to celebrate with people when they do things right and also when they fail and they learn a lesson. I think that's really important. And I think we need to have fun with people. I think we need to create an environment where they are motivated to succeed. And I think a lot of times that doesn't happen. You know, people go to work and they're not encouraged, they're not motivated. And I think that getting to know employees, I just had a question about that from an attendee here. How do I get people online to be more engaged and show more empathy? Well, you have to get to know them first. And you have to have conversations with them. And it's an ongoing process, but you need to start with having conversations with those people and so that they trust you. In other words, don't just start an online training and just get into content. Talk to the people that are going to find out something about them. What's important to them? What are they looking forward to learning? And having that dialogue back and forth, that communication is critical. So there's a lot of pieces to it, but I think holistically, if we would do all those things, that we would be the instigators of the learning culture in the organization.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.